hearing of the pastimes of the Lord. Hearing of the pastimes of the Lord is called Krishna Katha. Similarly, there is a statement by Prahlad Maharaj that those who are always merged in the ocean of the nectar of describing the Lord's pastimes are liberated and have no fear of the material condition of life. The Siddhas say that the mind of an ordinary person is full of anxieties. The example is given of the elephant who has suffered in a forest fire and who enters into a river for relief. If persons who are suffering in the forest fire of this material existence will only enter into the nectarian river of the descriptions of the pastimes of the Lord, they will forget all the troubles of the miserable material existence. The Siddhas do not care for fruitive activities such as performing sacrifices and achieving the good results. They simply merge in the transcendental discussions of the Lord's pastimes, the pastimes of the Lord. That makes them completely happy without care for pious or impious activities. For those who are always in Krishna consciousness, there is no need to perform any kind of pious or impious sacrifices or activities. Krishna consciousness is itself complete, for it includes all the processes praised in the Vedic scriptures. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaganara Gunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagat Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanustute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutli Prabhupada Nagameshi Subhak Swamini Dainya Shili Subhagyaya Sarva Jiva Kripabdi Guru Siksha Sarvachan Anakaya Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutli Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Samti Namni Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prasharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyadesh Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So, disclaimer, I'm just looking at this verse now, and so we'll just see what Krishna gives some intelligence. We can discuss something, if not many devotees here, so we can. So Srila Prabhupada says, so the Siddhas are praying, and he says the Siddhas have got 8 types of material perfections. They are in control of 8 yogic perfections. So they have, what are the 8 yogic perfections? So they're different. I think we searched for it. So the Anima, Laghima. Yeah, so they're lighter than the lightest, they can become heavier than the heaviest. So 8 types of siddhis that they have. Anima, they can become lighter or softer than a feather. Anima, they become very small. Laghima means they can become very light. And they have prapti siddhi, so they can get anything from anywhere else. They can become heavier than the heaviest, that's mahima siddhi. And they can annihilate anything they want at will, that's ishitva. and they can control even the material elements. That's vasitva, prakamya. They have the power to never be frustrated by any desire, and they can take any form or any shape that they want. That's kama vashayita. So even though they have all these siddhis, and all of us, even the greatest yogis, they're all trying to achieve these kind of eightfold mystic powers. But the siddhas who have all these 8 powers, they are not bothered by these things. By their statements, it looks like they are pure devotees, as Srila Prabhupada says. So even though they have all these siddhis, they are not interested in that. They are interested only in pure devotional service. There was this pastime Srila Prabhupada was saying about his in his younger days, in school or somewhere, there was this, he had some lecturer, someone who could bring some fruit, maybe a pomegranate or something that was somewhere in the Middle East, and he could just make it manifest. So that's one type of siddhi. And then there was this pastime where there was this yogi who everyone had gathered, and he had this special power. And he had this power that he could walk over water. I think you might have heard that pastime. And so everyone had gathered, and they were like, wow, this yogi's got this special power. He's going to walk over water. So he walked over the water, and then he came back. And so the sadhu asked him, how many years did you take to learn this? He said, 20, 30 years. I had to do so much of austerity, and I had to learn this trick. Then the sadhu called a boatman, and he said, come here. So how much do you charge to go that side? I said, I don't know how many, few cents. He said, to come back? So your 30 years of all this yogic process and sadhana is just equivalent to a few cents. So what's the point of it? All that, what is that going to give you? That's not going to give you the highest pleasure. And then he said, this siddhas, what are they doing? They're always trying to merge in the nectarian river of hearing the pastimes of the Lord. So I think Kunti Maharani also prays this. She prays that, let my mind always be thinking of Krishna, like how rivers always flow towards the ocean. So the rivers, they don't flow in the opposite direction. They always flow, they have a very fixed mind. They're always flowing towards the ocean. So like that, our mind should always be flowing towards Krishna consciousness or Krishna Katha. And so that, and here he says, they talk, Srila Prabhupada says, specifically pastimes of the Lord, and he says that is Krishna Katha. So Krishna Katha is pastimes of the Lord, and also pastimes of devotees of the Lord. And then Srila Prabhupada quotes about Srila Prahlad Maharaj, who describes how to become fearless in this world. We're in this material world, we're always ruled by fear. We're doing everything out of fear. If I don't work and earn money, I might not have food on the table, I can't look after my children. So it's out of fear that we're doing everything in this material world, we're running because of fear of something, that if we don't do that, then this won't happen. And there's no way of overcoming the fear. And Prahlad Maharaj says the only way to overcome that fear is if we become merged in the Lord's pastimes. Then we become liberated from all these petty fears of the material world. It's described in Srimad Bhagavatam, the first canto, second chapter, the process of hearing. So what happens when we hear? So it says who we should hear from, and if we hear from the association of devotees. So it says satam prasangam mama virya samvido bhavanti hrit karna rasayana kata tajoshanada sapavargavatmani shraddharatir bhakti ranukrameshati. So by hearing in the association of devotees, hearing about Krishna Katha, it goes into our heart, it goes in through our ears, it gives pleasure to our heart. A lot of other Katha doesn't give pleasure to our heart, it just causes misery, or it comes in and it goes out, we forget. But this goes into the heart. And it cleanses our heart for all that, clears our heart of all our material desires. And then what does it do? It starts awakening the seed of bhakti. And then, just by continuously hearing Krishna Katha, we go from developing a little bit of faith all the way to pure devotional service, all just by hearing Krishna Katha. And the process is explained in the second chapter, 17th verse. Shrinvata swakata Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridayanta stuhiya badhrani vidunoti suhrit satam. So Krishna is situated in everyone's heart. And one who develops this urge to hear, he cleanses his heart. And then after that, what happens after the cleansing of the heart? Nashta prayeshu badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So once we start doing that, and then we start serving Srimad Bhagavatam and the person Bhagavat, slowly the heart gets cleansed even more. And then after that, Tadorajas Tamo Bhava Kamalobha Dayaschaye Chetayete Anavidhim Stitam Satve Prasidhyati. As things get cleansed, then right now 99% of the people in this world, we're in the mode of ignorance and passion. Passion symptomized by unlimited desires, and ignorance, laziness, sleep, always trying to sleep. So 99% of the world is in the mode of ignorance and passion. And very few people are in the mode of goodness. And in order to understand Krishna, to come to Krishna consciousness, Krishna is supremely, he's pure. He's completely pure. He's above the mode of goodness. He's situated in Vishuddha Sattva, in pure goodness. So in order to associate with Krishna, we have to come from, not even the mode of goodness, we have to come to the mode of pure goodness. So unless we're in the mode of pure goodness, we cannot engage in pure devotional service. But to come to the mode of pure goodness, we should at least come to the mode of goodness. We can't come from kindergarten, you can't jump to doing a PhD. So you have to go step by step. So we have to come to at least the mode of goodness, and then from there we can move on to the mode of pure goodness. So all this, hearing Krishna Katha, brings us to the platform of at least mode of goodness, and from there, by the mercy of the person Bhagavat and by rendering service to Srimad Bhagavatam, then we can come to the platform of pure goodness, which is Vishuddha Sattva, or the Vasudev platform. And Srila Prabhupada goes on to explain that the Siddhas say that the mind of an ordinary person is full of anxieties. And he gives the example of an elephant who has just been burnt in a forest fire. He goes into the river, takes bath, and then he feels sort of calm, relaxed. He forgets about what happened. So we are all, in this material world, everyone is full of anxieties. There's no person in this material world who's not anxious. Everyone's full of anxiety, from the richest person to the poorest person. Every living entity in this material world is full of anxieties. And we're trying so hard to get out of these anxieties. The weekends, everyone's out at the beach. Everyone's trying to. I've had some. I had some clients. So they are full of anxiety, so much of issues, but they're all looking forward to Christmas or New Year, because they're thinking, okay, that day will come, we'll have a party and we'll feel really happy. But the next day they're back seeing me with the same problems, and that hasn't gone away. They've been looking forward for months. They're talking about it. Christmas is coming. Christmas, what are we going to do? But the day after, they're back to their same